Today I'm looking at an essay paragraph, which is pretty good, but we're going to make it much better because it has some problems. So let's start by looking at the question. Question is, in some countries, teenagers are encouraged to have part-time jobs. Some people say this is a good thing, others disagree. We discuss both of these views and give your own opinion. So we have to do one paragraph about both views. What we have here is a paragraph about the first view, which is it's a good thing for teenagers to have part-time jobs. So let's look at it in a bit of detail. The first sentence is, some citizens think teenager work part-time is very helpful. So this is what we call a topic sentence, which is a great idea. So the writer's done a good thing here, but some of the words are really wrong. So citizen, it's a grammar mistake because it doesn't have the plural, but it's really not the right word here. So remember, citizens are people with a particular nationality. We're not really talking about nationalities in this essay. So we're just going to use people. Okay, some people. Then we have think teenager work part-time is very helpful. Helpful doesn't really have the same meaning as a good thing in the question. So we're going to change that to a word that's better, which is beneficial. And we're going to rewrite this here to make it more natural. So some people think it is beneficial for teenagers to work part-time. So that's the more natural way to say this. Teenager work part-time is grammatically wrong as well. So have to make it a little bit better. And you can kind of memorize a structure like this. Some people think it is beneficial for something. Next, I'm going to change first to firstly. I prefer firstly. Now, first is not wrong, but firstly I think is a bit more common here. They can learn how to be responsible, and no money is not easy get. Now, the first half of this sentence is really, really good. They can learn how to be responsible. That's a fantastic phrase there. But no money is not easy get is not natural. Okay, they can learn how to be responsible. What this person's trying to say is that they appreciate how difficult it is to earn money. And the way we might say that is, and appreciate the value of money. Okay, they can appreciate the value of money, how difficult it is to actually make it. Now let's look at the next sentence. If they make own money, they will not waste parent money, and they can learn how use money a good way. Now this is a complex sentence. They're using an if form here, which is a good idea to do. But there are many mistakes. So let's try and fix some of them. If they make own money. So what we say here is their own money. If they make their own money, they will not waste parent money. Now I know what they mean here, but let's put it in a more natural way. Now I'm not going to use will because I'm saying that this normally happens. When something normally happens, we just use a zero conditional, which just means present simple, right? So what I'm going to say here is they are less likely to waste their allowance. Now, an allowance is the money that parents give to children, weekly or monthly that they can spend. And they can learn how use money good way. Now, again, we have a way to say use money good way, which is not natural English at all. And we call that financial management. They can learn good financial management. Let's look at the next sentence. So second, again, I'm going to change that to secondly. Part-time job give experience. Part-time job give experience. The grammar's all wrong here. We're missing an article, a part-time job. Let's change that to part-time work provides practical experience, okay? Provides practical experience. Provides is a bit better than give, yeah, and we need an S, provides. Now, if we look ahead here, they can learn how talk with customer, how work with other people, how manage time better. Now, these look like examples, don't they? Let's put an example linker, which is here. We can put such as. Now, these three ideas, we have specific words for these in English. So instead of writing it like this, we're just going to list these skills. Customer service, work with other people, teamwork, how manage time better, time management, right? Time management skills. Now, the next sentence should probably be linked to this one. Okay, now there are some serious errors here. Skills are, those words are wrong or missing. But let's link this to the previous sentence with a which, because we're commenting on it. Yeah. And we're going to, instead of using convenient, which is an often vague word that a lot of Chinese writers and speakers use, doesn't have a clear meaning, we're going to be much more specific here, which are valuable for their future careers. Okay. Which are valuable for their future careers. Finally, we're looking at the last sentence here. I'm going to change third to thirdly to match the other linkers. Now, the writer has used the same type of sentence, an if sentence that they used before. So we're going to change it. Now, offspring, never use offspring. It's always wrong. Yeah. So I'm just going to change this to having a job. That's my subject here. Having a job helps them feel more confident, not confidence, right? So, thirdly, having a job helps them feel more confident because they do something by self and not always depend parent. Now, I know what this person means, and I'm going to use again, the precise words, and you probably know them too. Because they develop, you improve something. They're what? What's the word we use? The thing that says we do something alone or we can do it alone? Independence, right? Independence. And I'm going to use another word here, which is maturity, to describe the idea that you don't need to depend on your parents. So there we have it. We've taken a pretty okay paragraph, but with lots of mistakes, and made it much better with not too many changes here. Firstly, they can learn how to be responsible and appreciate the value of money. If they make their own money, they are less likely to waste their allowance, and they can learn good financial management. Secondly, part-time work provides practical experience, such as customer service, teamwork, and time management skills, which are valuable for their future careers. Thirdly, having a job helps them feel more confident because they typically develop their independence and maturity. Nisha Kuelama, great to see you. Hope to see you again soon.